Have you ever wondered? Why is it advised not to get up before 4 a.m.? What's so special about the activities we do when starting our day? Since childhood, we've heard the saying, "The early bird catches the worm." However, it's interesting to observe that some older people wake up very early and remain energetic, while others defend the idea that sleeping in later is more beneficial for well-being. As we age, our bodies require more careful attention. The early hours of the day are when our body is most vulnerable. The routines we follow at this time not only influence how we feel immediately, but they also have a lasting impact on our health over time. After hearing this information, you'll be able to identify which common morning habits among older people are beneficial for their health and which could be harmful. It's likely that some habits you thought were harmless are affecting your well-being without you noticing. I will also provide you with safe and effective morning practices to maintain a healthy aging process. By sharing this knowledge with your loved ones, more people will be able to enjoy a fulfilling and healthy life in their later years. This content is particularly relevant for people who tend to drink cold water right after waking up. Exercise in the park early in the morning. Take a shower as soon as they get up. I will explain why these habits could be harmful and how you can adjust them to better care for your health. What's fascinating is that with simple adjustments to daily activities, significant improvements in well-being can be made without major sacrifices. When you wake up, what's the first thing you do? Do you have a cup of coffee? Or do you prefer to go straight to washing your face? What if I told you there's something you should never do when you get up? Let's explore it together in this analysis of healthy morning routines for older adults. Pay attention and reflect on how this information compares to your daily routine. It's likely that on several occasions you'll be surprised, say, "I used to do that too." By the end of this content, you may develop a new approach to starting your day from tomorrow. Maintaining healthy aging doesn't require radical changes, but small, everyday gestures. It all starts with your morning habits. Before continuing, remember to like the video if you're enjoying it, and subscribe to the channel for the best tips on how to attract abundance and prosperity into your life. Let's continue. First tip: don't get up abruptly when an alarm rings in the morning. How do you react? Do you sit up immediately? Maybe when you were younger, this wasn't something you worried about. But as we age, this behavior could be more dangerous than we think. Let me share the experience of my neighbor, Mr. Smith. Every morning, his alarm went off at 5 a.m., and he would get up instantly. However, one day he started feeling extremely dizzy and ended up falling to the ground. Luckily, he didn't suffer serious injuries, but the hospital diagnosed him with orthostatic hypotension. The doctor told him something crucial. Over time, blood vessels lose elasticity. In people over 70, the body has a much lower ability to control blood pressure compared to when they were young. For this reason, staying lying down for too long and getting up abruptly can cause the pressure to drop suddenly, leading to dizziness or even fainting. So, what's the right way to get up? The answer is clear. Do it gradually. Before continuing, remember to like the video if you're enjoying it, and subscribe to the channel for the best tips on how to attract abundance and prosperity into your life. Let's continue. When the alarm rings, don't get up immediately. Take about 3 more minutes in bed. Use that time to look at the ceiling and reflect on what the day will bring, or to notice the weather through the window. Then gradually move into a seated position before standing up fully. Do a little movement with your arms and legs to stimulate blood circulation. Next, move to the edge of the bed and sit for a moment. Don't rush this step. Stay seated for about a minute so your body can adjust to this position. Only after that time can you stand up calmly, although this may seem insignificant. This simple habit is crucial to avoiding falls and reducing the sudden effort that could affect your heart and brain. If you suffer from high blood pressure or heart problems, It's even more important to take precautions. Getting up slowly in the morning is the first step toward a day filled with well-being. In this section, we'll discuss which foods are recommended for consumption in the morning. But before that, why not note down this method for waking up tonight and try it out tomorrow when you get up? It's a simple adjustment, but it can have a big impact on your well-being. Second, be cautious with cold foods in the morning. Do any of you drink a glass of cold water when you wake up, or consume milk or yogurt straight from the fridge? You may do this because it provides a refreshing and revitalizing feeling, in addition to being a deeply ingrained habit. However, have you ever considered what impact this has on your body? Allow me to share the story of Mrs. Parker. Every morning, she used to enjoy a breakfast of yogurt and cold fruit straight from the refrigerator. However, one day, she began to experience stomach discomfort and digestive issues. At first, she thought it was due to her age, but when the doctor inquired about her morning eating habits, he quickly identified the cause. After a night of rest, the body's temperature usually drops slightly in the morning. This phenomenon intensifies with age. At this point, consuming cold food causes a sudden contraction in the stomach and intestines. It's comparable to being in a warm environment and suddenly receiving a blast of cold air. The body experiences a considerable impact. This shock not only causes discomfort, but can also lead to sudden constriction of blood vessels, which poses an additional strain for those with heart conditions, as well as compromising the immune system. During winter, this condition increases the risk of catching a cold or the flu. So, what would be ideal to eat in the morning? The answer is simple. Foods that are at a temperature close to the body's or slightly warm, and that are consumed slowly. Upon waking up, it's recommended to drink a glass of warm water slowly. To do this, you can boil the water and let it cool slightly before drinking it. Then, after about 20 minutes, begin breakfast with soft, warm foods like porridge, soft cooked rice, or lukewarm soup. It's important to pay attention to the temperature of the food. If it's too hot, it can irritate the stomach, so it should be at a temperature that doesn't burn when touched with a hand. Mrs. Parker also experienced significant improvement after adjusting her diet. While it's a small change, if maintained daily, it can bring great health benefits. Third, don't drink too much water at once in the morning. You probably heard many times that drinking a glass of water upon waking up is beneficial for health. It's a common recommendation in wellness programs. However, even this positive habit, if done improperly, can be risky. Allow me to tell you the story of Mr. Jake, whom I met recently. He is over 60 years old and is quite concerned about his health. Every morning, as soon as he woke up, he quickly drank a large glass of cold water. However, one day, after doing this, he experienced dizziness and his heart started to race. When he went to the hospital, he was diagnosed with a transient ischemic attack. According to the doctor, as we age, the body's ability to regulate blood vessels diminishes. Upon waking up, it's common for blood pressure to be off balance, and if a large amount of water is consumed quickly at that moment, the blood volume undergoes a sudden change. Since the body doesn't have time to adjust, complications may arise. This risk is even higher for individuals with hypertension or heart problems. It's important to be cautious, as sudden changes in blood pressure can affect heart health and, in severe cases, compromise blood flow to the brain, as happened to Grandpa Jake. So, what's the right way to drink water in the morning? Are you curious? Don't worry. The procedure is simple. First, avoid drinking water immediately upon waking up. Wait about 10 minutes. This allows the body to gradually activate and the blood pressure to stabilize. Second, opt for warm or room temperature water instead of cold water, as cold water can cause sudden blood vessel contraction. Third, don't drink large amounts at once. It's better to sip slowly using a small glass. For example, It's much safer to drink in several small sips from a small cup than to gulp down a large glass all at once. After modifying his habits this way, Grandpa Jake was able to maintain his health without problems. At first, it seemed a bit bothersome, but over time he said, "Now my body feels so much better." Staying hydrated is essential for well-being, but the way it's done also matters. In the mornings, it's ideal to drink slowly, in small sips with warm water. Fourth recommendation: don't rush into exercise in the morning. Have you heard that exercise in the morning is the best option? Going for a walk or jog at dawn, when the air is still fresh, might have been a great routine in youth. However, did you know that as we age, this practice could pose a risk to health? Let me tell you about Grandpa Parker, a neighbor from this neighborhood. At 70 years old, he had kept the habit of waking up at 5 a.m. to run in the park for over 4 decades. He always felt proud of living a healthy life thanks to this routine. But one winter morning, while following his usual routine, he was suddenly struck with intense chest pain and collapsed. Luckily, someone nearby noticed and managed to get him to the hospital, where he was diagnosed with an acute heart attack. The doctor's explanation was shocking. Upon waking up, the sympathetic nervous system activates, leading to increased blood pressure and an accelerated heart rate. If you suddenly exercise at that moment, especially in older adults, the heart can be subjected to excessive strain. The cold intensifies this danger, as it causes blood vessels to constrict and further increases blood pressure. The reason Grandpa Parker collapsed, despite never having had problems for over 4 decades, was that over the years, his blood vessels had lost their flexibility, and the accumulated strain eventually took its toll. So, what is the best time to exercise? The answer is simple. If you prefer to do it in the morning, wait until the sun has fully risen and your body is completely active. Another option, which may even be safer, is to exercise in the afternoon. If you really want to exercise in the morning, follow these tips. Upon waking, wait 30 minutes to an hour before starting. In the meantime, hydrate with some water and have a light breakfast. Start with gentle stretching or warm-up movements. Instead of immediately starting to run, begin with a slow walk and gradually increase the pace. After being discharged from the hospital, Grandpa Parker followed his doctor's instructions and started exercising after 9 a.m., reducing the intensity. Since then, he has not faced any further health problems. With a smile, he said, "Although I don't push myself as much as in my youth, I still maintain a consistent routine, and the benefits remain the same." Fifth recommendation: be cautious with morning showers. Do you think starting the day with a shower right after waking up is the best way to energize yourself? Or do you believe that a hot shower in the morning helps to relax the body? In fact, taking a shower this early can be more harmful to your health than it seems. Let me tell you the story of our neighbor, Grandpa Smith, who lives in the same building. At 65 years old, he would always wake up at 5:30 a.m. to take a hot shower, as he claimed it cleared his mind. However, one day while showering, he suddenly lost his vision and fainted in the bathroom. Luckily, his wife, who was at home, heard an unusual sound, opened the bathroom door, and found him just in time. He was rushed to the hospital, where doctors confirmed that he had fainted due to low blood pressure. The doctor explained that, upon waking, both his blood pressure and glucose levels hadn't yet stabilized. Did you know this habit can become dangerous in old age? Let me tell you the story of a grandmother who lives near my house. This woman, 65 years old, used to take a hot shower every morning because she said it made her body feel revitalized and ready to start the day. However, one cold winter morning, while she was bathing, her vision suddenly blurred, and she felt an intense dizziness that caused her fall. Luckily, she wasn't seriously injured, but at the hospital, she was diagnosed with a temporary fainting episode caused by low blood pressure. Why does this happen? According to specialists, when you wake up, your blood pressure and body temperature have not fully stabilized yet. If you take a hot shower at that moment, your blood vessels suddenly expand, which can cause a drastic drop in blood pressure. This reduces blood flow to the brain, which can lead to dizziness or even fainting. The risk is even greater for people with hypertension or heart problems. Additionally, the bathroom is a slippery area with hard surfaces, so a fall could result in serious injuries. What can be done? It's not necessary to give up showers, but here are a few tips. Shower in the afternoon or evening. At that point, your body has reached a more balanced state. If you need to shower in the morning, wait at least 30 minutes after waking up. Use that time to move around a little to improve circulation and drink some water to stay hydrated. Adjust the water temperature. It should not be excessively hot, just slightly warm. It's also recommended that the shower not be too long. About 15 minutes will suffice. Now, this grandmother has changed her daily routine. She showers mainly at night, and in the morning, she just refreshes her face and does a light cleaning. Although it was difficult to get used to at first, she now says that it's a more practical and safe approach. It's also suggested to install support bars in the bathroom and use non-slip mats. Additionally, slightly warming the bathroom before entering may be helpful in preventing sudden temperature changes that could negatively affect the body. Now, let's talk about another danger: rushing to the bathroom in the morning. Have you considered adjusting your shower routine to increase your safety? It's a small change, but it could be a significant step toward protecting your well-being. 7th, how to take breakfast and medication the right way when you wake up. What do you usually eat first? Many people choose a hot stew, like smichi jjigae or doenjang jjigae. Others prefer to take their medication as soon as they wake up. But did you know that these habits might not be as beneficial to your health? Let me tell you the story of Mrs. Jang, a 72-year-old grandmother who lives in our neighborhood. She's always liked starting her day with a breakfast that included a salty jjigae of smichi and pickles. She also used to take her blood pressure medication with some water before eating. However, she started to experience stomach burning and dizziness more frequently. At the hospital, she was told that her gastritis had worsened and that her blood pressure was unstable. According to specialists, it's common for blood pressure to rise in the morning. If high-sodium foods are consumed at that time, this increase can be even higher, which raises the risk of hypertension. Moreover, taking medications on an empty stomach can irritate the gastric lining, potentially causing gastritis or ulcers. How to avoid these problems? Choose a low-sodium breakfast. Instead of using salt or soy sauce, opt for healthier ingredients like sesame seeds or nuts to flavor your food. Eat soft and nutritious foods. It's better to have porridge, soft rice vegetables, or fruits rather than spicy or heavy dishes. Hydrate before eating. Drink a glass of warm water about 20 minutes before breakfast to help activate your digestive system and regulate blood pressure. Avoid taking medication on an empty stomach. Unless explicitly instructed by a doctor, it's ideal to take medication 30 minutes after eating. This is especially important for blood pressure medications, anti-inflammatories, and painkillers. To remember when to take your medications, you can set an alarm or write down the days and times on a container. If you take several medications, a pill organizer with separate compartments will help you stay organized and avoid mistakes. As for Mrs. Jang, she has replaced her breakfast with oatmeal or fruit and always takes her medication after eating. She says that at first it was difficult, but now her stomach feels much better, and the dizziness has decreased. 8th, it's not necessary to wake up at dawn. You probably heard the saying, the early bird catches the worm. Many people have led a disciplined life, waking up at dawn. However, did you know that as the years go by, this habit could be harmful to your health? Let me tell you the story of Mr. Jake, a 76-year-old man who has worked in the field all his life. He got used to waking up early and continued that routine even after his retirement. However, lately, he has been feeling tired and dizzy during the day. The hospital diagnosed him with chronic fatigue due to inadequate rest. Specialists point out that as we age, the deep sleep phase decreases, and it's more common to wake up several times during the night. Therefore, even if you spend long hours in bed, you might not be getting truly restorative sleep. If, in addition, you insist on waking up early in that context, your body may not be getting the necessary rest, which could lead to various health problems. So, how much sleep do we really need? Is it bad to sleep in? Here's the answer. From a medical perspective, for older adults, sleeping until noon doesn't indicate laziness, but rather it's a healthy choice. This is especially true for those with irregular blood pressure or heart problems, as adequate rest becomes even more crucial. Sleep specialists argue that, even in old age, it's necessary to get around 8 hours of sleep each day. If you haven't rested properly during the night, taking the opportunity to sleep a little longer in the morning can be beneficial for your well-being. The key is not waking up early, but allowing your body to rest as much as it needs. For example, Grandpa Jake now sleeps until his body wakes up naturally, following his doctor's advice. He usually gets up around 7 a.m. At first, it felt strange to him because he thought he was wasting time, but now he says he has more energy and vitality throughout the day. I want to share a few tips for getting a good rest. Establish a consistent routine. Try to go to bed and wake up at the same time each day. Before bed, you can wash your feet with warm water or do some light stretching, which will help. Make sure the bedroom is dark and quiet, and avoid consuming caffeine or alcohol before bed. It's more valuable to start the day with a healthy mind and body than to wake up early. Pay attention to your body's signals and give it the rest it needs. That's the real secret to maintaining well-being. What do you think of this summary about morning routines? We've covered 8 key aspects, and most of them are directly connected to our daily lives, right? We discovered that it's not recommended to rush out of bed in the morning, but rather to wake your body up gradually. We learned to be careful with cold food and drinks. It's also better to drink water in small sips and calmly, rather than gulping it down. We became aware that doing intense exercises or taking a hot shower early on can be dangerous. Additionally, we should be cautious when rushing to the bathroom. We also discussed that breakfast should be light, and it's better to take medications after eating. However, the most important thing is not waking up early, but making sure to get enough rest. It might worry you not to remember or apply all these things, but don't worry. Every change begins with a small first step. How about tomorrow, when you wake up, focusing on just one? For example, when the alarm goes off, don't get up immediately. Stay in bed for a few more minutes and gently wake up your body. Next week, you could choose a lighter breakfast. And the week after, change the time when you take your medication. By making small adjustments like these, you'll notice how your mornings, your days, and your well-being begin to change. In fact, many older people who have incorporated these simple habits claim that they feel lighter, more relaxed, and enjoy their mornings more. To have a fulfilling old age, there is no need for complex secrets. It is the simple daily habits that contribute to your well-being. It's not about expensive elixirs or complicated routines, but about small adjustments that, while easy to implement, can have a significant impact on your health. Lastly, cultivate self-love. Aging does not mean neglecting your well-being. On the contrary, it is the ideal time to pay more attention and improve your self-care. Living healthily and for many years will be the most valuable gift you can give to your loved ones. Share this information with your family and friends. Your experience and knowledge can be a great support for others. And most importantly, when you wake up tomorrow, think, today I will make healthier decisions than yesterday. A fulfilling and healthy old age starts now. at this very moment. I sincerely wish you a life phase full of joy, with days full of energy and well-being. I deeply appreciate that you've stayed with us until the end with such enthusiasm. Feel free to share your experience in the comments. It could be very helpful for those watching this.